Hey everyone and welcome. Today we're diving into a dish that sounds super fancy but is actually incredibly achievable. A beautiful, tender braised rabbit with garlic and herbs. We're gonna break it all down, step by step, so you can feel like a total pro right in your own kitchen. Let's get into it. I know. Cooking rabbit, it sounds a little intimidating, right? But honestly, think again. In this explainer, we're going to completely demystify it for you. See, rabbit is a really lean meat, which means the secret to making it amazing is to cook it low and slow. That's why braising is the absolute perfect method, and you're about to see just how simple it is to make a restaurant-quality meal at home.
Okay, first things first. Let's talk ingredients. This is section 1, and it's all about building the foundation of flavor. You know, every amazing dish starts with great components, so let's take a look at what we'll need.
So, here are the core players. Obviously, we've got our rabbit, and hey, don't be afraid to ask your butcher to cut it into pieces for you. It saves a ton of work. Then we have our aromatics, a good onion, plenty of garlic, and those classic herbs, rosemary and thyme. And of course, the essentials, good olive oil, salt, pepper, and a little fresh parsley for that finishing touch.
Now this slide is interesting because you get to make a choice. This is where you decide the personality of your sauce. If you go with a dry white wine, you're going to get this bright acidity, a little bit of complexity. But if you choose chicken broth, you'll end up with a sauce that's richer, deeper, more savory. Honestly, there's no wrong answer here. It's totally up to what you're in the mood for.
And here is a little pro tip for you. Look, this step is totally optional, but if you've got the time, I can't recommend it enough. Marinating the rabbit for a couple of hours, or even better, overnight, lets all those garlic and herb flavors really sink deep into the meat. This is the secret to taking your dish from just great to absolutely unforgettable.
All right, let's get cooking. On to section 2, the golden brown sear. I love calling this the first transformation, because this is where we start building some serious flavor.
To get this right, you've got to follow these 3 steps. No shortcuts. First, pat that meat completely dry. Moisture is the #1 enemy of a good sear. Second, season it generously. Don't be shy with the salt and pepper. And finally, get your pan and oil really hot before the rabbit goes in, and sear it until it's a beautiful golden brown on each side.
So, why do we even bother with this? It's a great question. We're not trying to cook the rabbit all the way through here. Not at all. This is all about creating flavor. That golden brown crust you see, that's the Maillard reaction. And it's basically delicious chemistry that creates all these deep, savory, roasted notes. This crust becomes the flavor foundation for the entire dish.
Let's move on to section 3, building the flavor base. Now that our rabbit is seared, we're going to use that very same pan to craft the soul of our dish, the sauce.
It all starts very simply. In that same pan, with all those tasty bits left over from the rabbit, we're going to sauté our chopped onion until it gets nice and soft. Then in goes the garlic, but just for a minute or so. You just want to cook it until you can smell that amazing aroma. Just be careful here, you don't want to burn it. Okay, get ready for a technique that sounds super fancy but is actually one of the easiest, most rewarding things you can do in a kitchen: deglazing. This is where you pour in your liquid, your wine or your broth, into that hot pan. You'll hear that sizzle, see the steam, and that allows you to scrape up all those brown, flavorful bits from the bottom.
And this quote just says it all. Those little brown bits, that's not burnt stuff, that's pure flavor concentrate. By scraping them up and dissolving them into your sauce, you're building a depth of flavor that you just can't get any other way. I'm telling you, this is the move that separates a good homemade sauce from a truly great one.
All right, let's head into section 4, the slow, tender braise. I call this the patient magic because, well, this is where we step back and let some low, slow heat do all the work, transforming that rabbit into something unbelievably tender.
So the temperature is absolutely key. We want a nice, moderate oven. That's 350 degrees Fahrenheit or 175 Celsius. We're not trying to blast it with heat. We're gently coaxing it into becoming perfectly tender. This slide is basically our game plan. So you nestle the rabbit back into the sauce, cover it up, and pop it in the oven. About halfway through, maybe 30 minutes in, you're going to want to pull it out and baste it. Just spoon some of that sauce over the top. It keeps everything moist. Then, sometime after the 1-hour mark, you'll start checking to see if it's done. So what are you looking for exactly? This. This right here is the goal. You will know it's ready when the meat is so tender you could practically shred it with a fork. It should be succulent, juicy, and pretty much falling right off the bone. That, my friends, is the sign of a perfect braise.
We are so close.
Welcome to Section 5, Finishing the Masterpiece. This is the grand finale where we take all that flavor we've been building and present it in all its glory.
Just a few simple last touches. Gently lift the rabbit pieces out of the pan and set them aside somewhere to keep warm. You can fish out those woody herb stems now. They've done their job. Now, look at your sauce. If it seems a little thin, you can just put the pan on the stove and let it bubble away for a few minutes to thicken up. And then, all that's left is to spoon that liquid gold all over the rabbit. And what should you serve this masterpiece with? Well, you absolutely need something to soak up every last drop of that incredible sauce. Creamy polenta is a classic for sure. Fluffy mashed potatoes are amazing. And you can never ever go wrong with a good loaf of crusty bread. Then just finish the whole plate with a little sprinkle of fresh parsley for that pop of green and freshness.
And there you have it. You've seared, you've built a sauce, you've deglazed, and you've patiently braised your way to a truly stunning dish. So, the only question left is this. Now that you've totally mastered this technique, what will you serve with your masterpiece? Go on and enjoy it.